Love is the strongest magnetic force in the universe. Each time we choose love, we enjoy life more. Each time we choose love, we enhance the quality of our life. Each time we choose love, life seems brighter and clearer. Love heals. Love soothes. Love elevates. Love forgives. Love gives us hope. Love brings us joy and abundance. Love makes us grow. Love feels good. Love makes life colorful. We are all here to learn about love, to love yourself more, and therefore others. Real love is selfless and free from fear. It's joy in the pain. Love more. Love is the thing that makes all things beautiful. Speaking of love,
what a
Welcome to Speaking of Love, the podcast, and I am your host, Latoya. I created this podcast in honor of my dad, who was an amazing guy. He had an infectious laugh, and his spirit was magnetic. He was the type of guy who made everybody feel like somebody special. If you were to place him in a crowded room of 100 people, my dad would be the smartest person in the entire room. He was an award-winning radio TV broadcast engineer for many years. Born and raised in the city of Detroit, he was one of the first to go to college in his family. And while attending Wayne State University, he developed a lifelong love affair with the game of basketball. He was the shortest point guard on the team, but he could slam dunk the basketball with either hand. By all outward appearances, my dad lived a rewarding life, but there were parts of him that were known to only him. On March 2nd of 2020, my dad's private struggles became public when he took his own life in a murder-suicide. When he died, a part of me died too. And since the tragedy, I have become an advocate for mental health awareness and suicide prevention. I also created this beautiful podcast in honor of my dad and others like him who are struggling with the effects of mental health challenges. My podcast, Speaking of Love, is named after a show my dad once hosted called Speaking of Sports. Thank you for taking the time to be here with me today as we take a journey in pursuit of the strongest magnetic force on the planet Earth, and that's love. My name is Latoya Bond, and I have a podcast called Speaking of Love. My podcast is dedicated to the memory of my dad who took his own life in a murder-suicide. Aside from that, I am a business owner. I have a home-based business. I am also a legal professional during my 9-to-5 day. And I am a person who operates her entire life on the premise of spreading love. It's the secret to my success. It's the secret to my longevity on this earth, and it's what keeps us going because love is the thing that makes all things beautiful. So that's why I'm here today to talk about my favorite subject in the whole wide world, and that's love. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speaking of Love, the podcast. I am your host, Latoya, and this is my 146th episode. I'm here today with a beautiful young lady by the name of Domonique Anderson. I am so excited to have you here, Domonique. I am going to introduce my audience to you because I want them to know exactly who I have here sitting before me today. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. One second. On today's episode of Speaking of Love, I am honored to introduce a remarkable guest. Her name is Domonique Anderson. Domonique is a passionate advocate for being unapologetically authentic, embracing your whole self and discovering who you truly are. As a dedicated mental health professional, she creates a safe and transformative space for her clients to explore every part of themselves, including their trauma, self doubt, stress, and emotional triggers. In addition to her private work, Domonique serves as a mental health consultant for the Detroit Institute for Children. In this role, she provides vital mental health resources to early childhood centers, ensuring that young minds grow in a socially and emotionally supportive environment. Thank you for being here today, Domonique. How are you?
Thank you. I am feeling very, very open today and just blessed, humbled, and full of joy and peace today. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you accepting my invitation to be here. For those of you who don't know, I belong to Kevin Song, which is a charitable organization designed to help support people who are suicide loss survivors like myself. And so in January, we had this huge, big conference, and Domonique was one of the presenters for the conference on suicide. And I met her, I attended her breakout session. She's a dynamic mental health resource, and I'm just happy to have you here. And I'm thankful that you and I connected after meeting in January. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
So, Domonique, you have so many wonderful, great things going on in your life right now. You've dedicated your life to helping enhance the lives of other people. And that's what attracted me to you, a person who sacrifices their life to make other lives better. So, talk to me about growing up. What was life like for Domonique as a little girl? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the city of Detroit. I was raised by my mom. She was a single mother, and it was a journey. By the time I was 18, I had moved about 34 times, maybe. We moved around a lot. My mom struggled with mental health. She was always such a strong, strong lady, but she also had her trauma as well. And so my actual work started when I was 4, trying to help her.
Aww.
Just trying to be compassionate and empathetic and well and warm and welcoming to her, and always just being some kind of peaceful partner to her, because she had a lot going on. Being a single mom is hard. So always being light. I had a lot of fun. I had my cousins to grow up with who were like my sisters. Um, I went to Man Elementary, and then I always was involved with Man Elementary.
Ah.
And then I was always involved in something so cheer, gospel choir. I was in the newspaper, always at the top of my class. So working hard was important to me too. I always was learning something, because the world itself was just so interesting, and people were interesting to me. So I was always talking to people like, who are you? Like, what do you do? And asking 1,000 questions about their life. And then when in middle school, I struggled myself with bullying a lot. And that's when I found my first counselor at Bernie Elementary. So that was in Bernie Middle School. I'm sorry. So that was in Southfield. And she always told me to just breathe. In the middle of it, just breathe. And when I felt like I didn't have anybody else, have one person to call on, that was God. And then always have like a special support person, whether it was in my family or at school. So that really took me a long way, especially when I was struggling with my own identity, trying to understand, why am I moving so much? Why is my mom going through this? Why can't I help her? Or why is the world kind of crumbling in front of me? I just didn't understand. So in high school, I went to South Lathrop High School, and my counselor there, her name was Pamela Manella, and she helped me with my first bout of suicide, because I thought about taking my life, because I felt like um, I didn't matter, because it was so much going around. My dad wasn't around. He chose to live his life, and I would see him all the time, and it was just, he would come in and out, and I had a source of like rejection and abandonment and identity issues of like, am I not worth loving? But I ended up finding love in different spaces. So that was through my love of dance, through love of singing, poetry, theater, um, being with my family and my friends, and just being in nature. So nature really grounded me a lot during that time. And Miss Manila is, I told her, I actually saw her once I graduated college. I told her, I was like, I'm going to do what you do, so that I can help other kids who are like struggling, when they get older. So I always took that to heart with me.
Wow. So back in January when you and I met, I attended one of your in services. You had a breakout session at the Heaven Songs event back in January, and I sat in and I really enjoyed your presentation. You were very organized, you were well prepared, and the information you delivered in such a way that everyone felt like a heart connection. So I understand you are now in the field of mental health services. Talk to me about your professional journey and how you have navigated the trenches of being someone that you can depend on in time of emotional need.
So funny thing is, I did not choose this career. It chose me. I
Uh-huh.
would just go, I would just go for something completely different. Um,
So
but
what were your original career goals?
my original career goals was I was going to be an anesthesiologist, and then I was going to be a filmmaker, which I did film for a while. And then I went back to school so that I can get my bachelor's in communications so I can continue it. But like in my first semester, I had a dream, and it was like, nope, you're going to switch your degree to psychology. And I was like, what? I've gone through too much. I'm trying to heal myself. How am I going to heal other people? So, but it was the best thing I did. I went to Rochester College, and that was Christian led too. So that allowed me to have like some biblical stance behind it too. But I worked in protective services after that for the state of Michigan. I worked with Vista Maria. So I worked with human trafficking young ladies, and I started mentoring them. And kids was always my go-to. So like, I'm an only child, but I was always like the aunt to kind of just pour into my babies around. And working with the state of Michigan for children who were being removed from their parents, or the parents who were struggling and they didn't have any resource or where to go, who to be. I was that person that would actually listen to them. So where I'm supposed to go in and out, I'm spending like 20, 30 minutes talking to these people, trying to really understand like, what were the roots? Where did this root it from? What was this rooted from? And grounding them. And once I saw that I was able to be a voice for the voiceless, because that's my motto, is being a voice for the voiceless.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just projected me to go on and go pursue my master's degree. And I did it with 2 kids at the time. And then I went to get my master's degree at the Michigan School of Psychology, and that was in 2018. And when I started, I was not prepared for master's program. because life was just lifing around me too. I had a lot going on mentally, financially. And so once I was able to, I failed my program twice. And
Wow.
so in 2020, I was able to like go forward and be a part of pouring into myself because I really wanted to take my career to another level. I wanted to be more so in the community, being the community partners. I wanted to be on the other side. And so, working with CPS, you outsource to therapists and things like that. So I was like, I want to be on that side. And I'm gonna do that one of these days. And now I actually am right now. I just started working with professional outreach counseling services, and I provide the therapy for those CPS cases. So like it all comes together for fruition.
Well, that's wonderful. So describe for me what a typical day is like for you, like when you're working with your clients. Take me through that process. What do you do for them?
So I create a safe space in the moment. So I always have like some kind of tangible object for them to hold. That's like their power. So right now I have like a rock and it has like a rose on it. And they get to hold it. They get to let this be their safe space. And I kind of just allow them to just breathe before we even get started, kind of do some grounding work. I have my Kleenex a lot too, but I just let them know like this is the time to be authentically you. Like no one else knows about you. You can be your true authentic self in this space. And that kind of allows them to breathe a little bit and take the pressure off. And I let them know like I bring spirit into it too. Like I pray before I even get started because different energies, I'm very big on energies, and I want them to feel a calming energy when they come into my office or on my computer even. So even if they're not in front of me, I make sure that they have some kind of inanimate object to have that power to hold on to so that they don't lose it.
That's wonderful. So, what do you love most about the work that you do, Dominique? You have persevered, you're resilient. You went back after your program ended twice because you didn't pass. That's wonderful. I didn't know that. So, what do you love most about the work that you're doing right now in your life?
The growth in myself, the growth in my clients, the fact that they trust me and they continue to come back and that they love themselves more. I'm sorry, I'm going to start crying. They love themselves more. They get that time to find who they are and their purpose and their journey because no one has given them that opportunity or been that person for them. So I get to be that. It's so rewarding and it's hard too because I can't save everybody, but I always show up and I always let them know that I'm available. Even after therapy has ended, I do check in on them like every 6 months just to make sure that they're okay. And that matters to them too, because they have that sense of love and genuineness in their life. That's special support. So that is important to me.
And Dominique, in the beginning of this interview, you mentioned how you moved a lot, you had a lot going on, and you found love in other spaces. So now what you're doing is you're being for your clients what no one was for you. You're being for them what you needed when you were coming up. You said you had the dance and theater and things of that nature that helped you find love, but you are that love that your clients are looking for. And that's beautiful. You've taken your skills and talents and you're using them to enhance the quality of other people's lives. And that is the definition of a hero. So thank you for what you do, Dominique. You are amazing.
Thank you so much.
What have you discovered about yourself that maybe you didn't know before you started this journey?
That I'm strong and I am enough And um, I deserve love, and um, just that my struggles doesn't define me. I can create and recreate my story more and more each day because I have the power to do that and the drive to do that. And because I had love growing up. My mom was amazing. My family was great, but self love,
Mm-hmm.
that I am learning about myself more and more each day. That I don't have to accept abuse. I don't have to accept negative views of love, but I can be love.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my baby's giving me a hug because she sees me crying. So.
That's so sweet. You see, that right there is a testament of the heart that you hold, because you're holding a space of love not only just for your clients but your children. Your daughter
Mhm.
feels the love from you, and that's why she's there right now to comfort you. That's a learned behavior. So even though you had the struggles that you had in your life, you were able to overcome that and be the woman that you are today, a woman of love and character and more high moral standards. So
Mhm.
you're truly what they would call resilient. You are resilient. And I just love that. Hi,
Thank
beautiful. What's your daughter's name?
Layla. She
Hi,
says,
Layla. Oh,
hi.
hi, Layla. She's so beautiful. Layla, your mom is amazing. I met your mother back in January at a conference, and she was giving a keynote presentation, and I just fell in love with her mission. And now I see she has a beautiful daughter that's going to walk in her footsteps someday. So this is beautiful. Thank you for
Mhm.
being here,
Thank
Layla.
you.
We're live on the air right now.
Say hi because people can see you. Say, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
So sweet. That's so sweet. So,
Yeah, I have
Dominique,
three daughters and a son.
you have 3 daughters and a son. Oh, well, before this interview is over, I want to see all of them. I want you to be. I love children. That's so beautiful. So, Dominique, back to our interview. So, you mentioned earlier that there were times in your life early on that you had thoughts of suicide. And I just want to talk a little bit about the topic of suicide, because that's the purpose of this podcast, is to spread love and sprinkle a little love and let people know that love is the thing that makes all things beautiful.
Yes.
If there's someone watching this podcast right now, Dominique, or listening, and they're having thoughts of suicide, they're tired, they don't want to be here anymore. Life has been difficult and they're ready to give up. What words of encouragement would you offer that individual to stay around just a little bit longer?
I would always let them know that their story is not over, that you can push your pain into passion, into purpose, and into power. And so, giving them just that moment of, if you feel like no one else around you loves you or feels like I do, there's that one person, and you matter to me more than anything. And if you were to leave tomorrow, you know, what else would we have left after that? And just letting them know that it is hard, but we have support, that we have more people out here who are just afraid to say that they're struggling because it's such a hard thing to say. So people suffer in silence. So I would just tell them, to be brave, to be strong, that they're worthy, that they're important, and that they're amazing.
Yes. And they're not alone. And
They
if
are not
anyone's
alone.
listening and watching right now, and if you do need someone to talk to, please dial 988. That's the Suicide Lifeline number. That number is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just like you would call 911 in an emergency situation, there is now a new line that has been established. It's been around for a little over a year now. You can just dial 988. There are trained professionals there. They can talk to you, they can help you. They are here. They may not be able to solve your problem or your issue today, but they can take you by the hand and guide you on the path of a better tomorrow, step by step, to help you build a new life brick by brick. We are here for you. And just know that no matter what you are going through, there's always a way out of it. You may not be able to get out of it at that moment today, maybe not next week, but if you start a journey of seeking help, you can get to the other side of your pain. And just know that when you're not here anymore, the pain that you felt will be transferred to the people you love. So please know that you are worthy and your life matters, and your existence on the planet Earth, it has a divine purpose. But you're going to go through problems in life. You're going to have bad days, but just know that that's not the final analysis of your life. Correct, Dominique?
Yes, ma'am. That is very true. And it works. It's like when you're at the top of the mountain, they literally bring you down to being more grounded and more centered so that you can have a little more insight and a little bit more wiggle room just to breathe a little bit more. And you are allowing yourself to have a little bit more time to be here on this earth. So.
You know, I heard it best one time. Will Smith was on the Oprah Winfrey Show one time, and he made the comment to stay awake for the rebirth. And what that means is today is not the rest of your life. It's just one day. My father died on a Monday, and I just wonder if he had stayed around one more day and if he had woke up on Tuesday, the next day, life might have been different for him. Maybe his mood would be different. So if we just decide to stay awake for the rebirth and just know that tomorrow's going to be a new day, you're going to rebirth a new day, but you can take a step forward to a better tomorrow if you just stay around a little bit longer. In the short term, I like to say stay around a little bit longer because it helps the person look at things from a right now perspective as opposed to looking at the long term. So just stay awake for the rebirth and know that help is available for you, but you have to reach out for that help. You have to reach out for that help. And I also want to say, Dominique, for people who have someone in their life who's reaching out for help, be careful how you respond to them. Because if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, Latoya, I'm just tired of living, I'm ready to go," at that moment, you need to stop whatever you're doing. If you have your cell phone in your hand, if you're eating dinner, and give that person your undivided attention. If they come to you and say, "I'm tired, I'm ready to die, I'm having thoughts of suicide," I want you to lower your voice and talk to them without judgment, without criticism, without trying to fix them, and just listen to them, hear them out, and then refer them to 988. The two of you can call together. You can talk this through. You can get help. But the worst thing you want to do is shut a person down. "Oh, you can't be that weak. I know you're not thinking about killing yourself. Are you kidding me?" So we have to be careful how we respond. The correct response is, "I understand what you're going through. I'm here for you. Let's get help." And always lower your voice. There's a magnetic force when you lower your voice and you talk softly to a person. It helps them be more open. It helps them come to you.
And even if you don't understand what they're going through, just looking them in the face, giving you, like you said, the undivided attention, stopping what you're doing, looking them in the face, holding their hand, giving them that moment of compassion, just to, like I said, a moment of no judgment, that itself gives them more courage and more strength to be able to say, okay, somebody does matter. Somebody hears me too. And they want to actually help me instead of just pushing me away. Because a lot of times that can be what pushes them to the edge, because they might say it and then they have the negative result, responses back. And they're like, "Oh, don't nobody care. I'm just go ahead and I'm just do whatever." And then that's when you wake up to tragedy.
Yes, and even when you have the conversation, Dominique, the best thing to do is follow up. Don't just have one conversation. Call them back later that night. Call them back the next day. Talk to them. Stay in their ear. Let them know that they matter. Don't just have one conversation and oh, he's better now. No, stay there. Talk to them. Continue going. Dominique, earlier before we went live, you and I were discussing that your life has been touched by suicide. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So it started with my mom. My mom, like I said, she was a single mom. She had a lot of trauma happen to her before becoming a mother, while being a mother, and things of that nature. So when life would get really hard, that was the first time I saw her try to kill herself. I was 4. And I was at my grandma's house, and she was in my grandma's room, and she was like, I'm gonna do it. I don't need this. I don't want to be here anymore. And hold on, baby. And she said that she was going to take my grandma's gun and she was going to harm herself. And so from then on, I always just kept an eye on her. She would take pills. She would and just go to sleep. And then I would find out that, we need to take her to the hospital. That was my first couple of times dealing with it. And I dealt with that with her even up until I became a grown adult. So she still struggles with it, but I'm trying more and more just to help her as best as I can, just to know that she matters and have her find her purpose. I just recently, I myself have tried to take myself when I was a kid. I was 13. And like I said, I was being bullied. I was being bullied by my friends. And I thought they were my friends. And I didn't want to be here anymore. And life around me was going crazy too. And my mom was in one of her moments. So I was like, well, if she doesn't want to be here, I don't need to be here either. When I became grown and I was a mother myself, and I was in a hard relationship and things were just going crazy, I took pills myself, and because I felt like I was giving so much of myself and it was just not working. And I tried to take my own life. I gave my babies a bath, and I kissed my husband at the time on his forehead, and I had taken the pills and I went to sleep. And I was like, when I woke up the next day, I was like, really? Like, I still have a purpose here? Like, you're not mad? So after that, I started to get help for myself. Just because I was like, I need somebody to talk to. I need to be able to be here for my babies, and I have a purpose here. And then that's when I started the long journey of going back to school and pushing into my purpose. And then unfortunately, I just lost one of my dearest friends that I worked with at the state of Michigan, and his motto was "Ain't no 2 days the same," and so he was very big on mental health and being with the youth and social justice, and he took his life in March of this year. So it was very devastating to know, because I had just reached out to him in January, and his phone was off, and I was like, something is weird. But I felt his spirit, and I couldn't get to him because I looked on every social media platform, and I was like, I can't find him. And we had lost touch over the last year because I had a lot going on, and I didn't know where he lived. And I was like, has anybody talked to him? And so the next phone call that I got was that he had taken his life. And that was a really hard day for me because I had to see clients that day too. So I was just like, okay, let me breathe. So, and then even and then what started my presentation for Kevin's song, Suffering in Silence, was my own daughter, my oldest daughter. She too herself tried to take her life, and because she was being bullied in school, and I didn't know anything about it because she wouldn't talk about it. And that one was the hardest for me. And my mom is too, but my own baby, because I didn't know. And I was just like, you have to, it's okay. When it happened, because I was getting a phone call from the ambulance at the school, and it was hard. And she felt embarrassed, and she felt like no one's gonna love me, no one's gonna. I said, it does not. We just want to make sure that you're okay. I just want to make sure that you're okay. And ever since then, I started talking to her school about it, about talking to these kids about bullying and about what they're really struggling with within, because it could be the last time that they see their classmate or teacher or somebody. So it's been a rough couple years.
Well, you know what, Dominique, I really appreciate your openness and your willingness to share your story, your journey, even to talk about your own daughter. Every 11 minutes in the United States alone, someone dies by suicide. Every 11 minutes. Last year alone, we lost 49,000 people. Every day, 22 veterans in the US alone die by suicide. So, but if people are dying every 11 minutes by suicide, by the time we get done with this podcast, we will have lost at least four more people. And this is it's an epidemic, and we're doing the best that we can to bring an end to it. Right now, I think it's a good time for me to put this on the screen here. Let's talk about the warning signs of suicide in adults, because a lot of times we see these symptoms and we see these signs, but we don't recognize them as warning signs. So let's talk about this. Number one is talking about or making plans for suicide. That's number one. Number two is being anxious or agitated, behaving recklessly, like driving real fast and just not having control over your emotions. The next one is talking about being a burden to others. If you hear a person saying, "Oh, I'm just a burden, the world would be better off without me," that could be a sign that they're contemplating suicide. Talking about being in unbearable pain. Sometimes people who have a medical diagnosis, a cancer diagnosis, or some type of physical ailment, they feel trapped inside of their bodies, and they're in unbearable pain, and they want that pain to end. Oftentimes people can turn to drug use and alcohol, indulging more in that type of behavior, reckless sex, things of that nature. Talking about hopelessness, or just feeling like I have no reason to live. Why am I here? Sleeping patterns can change. You can start sleeping too much or not getting enough sleep. The main thing here that I recognize in people is withdrawing from things that you love and feeling isolated. If someone is a lover of basketball and they stop playing basketball, if they stop showing up for work, if they stop taking care of their hygiene, showing rage, or talking about seeking revenge, just displaying these really weird mood swings, all of these could be warning signs that someone is contemplating taking their own life. And Dominique, if someone is exhibiting those behaviors, the first thing that we should do is open up and talk to them without judgment. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
it
ma'am.
is.
And just say that's something that you notice. Like you notice something's different and something's off. Are you okay?
Mhm.
And just let them have it if they choose.
Yes, thank you for that. So, Dominique, this podcast is called Speaking of Love. I got the name of the show because this show was created in honor of my dad, who took his own life. And he once was a radio broadcast engineer. He had a radio show, a sports radio show, many years ago called Speaking of Sports. And I'm going to show a picture of him in his studio, speaking of sports. One second.
Oh,
So
cool.
there he is there, as you can see in the back, the sign, speaking of sports. So when he passed away, my sister sent me this photo of him, and I knew that I wanted to do something to honor him. And I thought, wow, He had a radio show called Speaking of Sports. Well, I don't know anything about sports, but I know all about love. So I created this podcast, Speaking of Love, after his show, Speaking of Sports. So the $1,000,000 question that I ask all my guests who sit before me, Domonique, is speaking of love, how do you define love?
That is such a hard question.
Well, there's no right or wrong answer. I had 146 guests, and every guest has had a different answer. No two answers are the same. So you wrong.
So I define love as, like I said, self-love, being authentic, being just freedom. Love is peace. Love is balance. Love endures all things. I always think about 1 Corinthians 13 chapter of love, and it's just, love is beautiful when it's done the right way. Love is like a breath of fresh air to me. So me being able to smile every day, and me being able to smile even when chaos around me is going on. But
Mm-hmm.
love, like I said, is authenticity. That would be my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes. So, Domonique, we're going to be concluding this podcast episode here. But before we go, is there anything else you'd like to share with my audience? And can you let them know how they can reach out to you for your services?
So I am right now, I'm currently at Professional Outreach Counseling Services, and that's in Wayne, Michigan. So I do virtual telehealth and I do in-person therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I am on social media, so I'm on Facebook as just Domonique Anderson, but I'm also on Instagram now with Dom a Dozen Counseling Services. So that is what I'm starting for myself, is giving more of my mental health services out into the world, outside of like my other job. So providing mentorships, workshops. I'm starting to create that. And then I have a mental health journal too for men, Black men specifically, so that they can start their healing journey as well. That's on Amazon. And what was the rest of the question? I want everybody to know that I have on the shirt, it's from actually Kevin's songs, for which is from Everybody versus the Stigma.
Aww.
And I love them too.
Stand up and let us see the shirt, Domonique.
Yeah, so it says, we turn our pain into passion, our passion into purpose, and our purpose into power. And so I just want people to know that, it's hard being your authentic, true self when the world around us is so glamorized and it's instant. But really, truly finding yourself is going to be the best gift that you can give yourself in this life. And that's how you find out your true gifts, your purpose, and just the love that you can continue to give to others and pour out into that. Being great, being humble, and having a life of gratitude as well helps just to exude more positive energy around you, and find someone who is safe, who you can be your true authentic self with too when you need support. And always love,
That's
no
right.
matter what.
No matter what. Domonique, you are amazing. When the pages of your life are reviewed and your mission here on the planet Earth is complete, what do you most want to be remembered for?
That's a hard question too. I want to be remembered for my light. I feel that I have a lot of light. I see the bright side of everything, and I want to be remembered of, she always had light with her, and my
Mm-hmm.
smile.
Yes, you're beautiful. You have that light already, though. You have achieved your intention. If that's what you want to most be remembered for, you have achieved your intention. The light is definitely there, and I saw that light when I first met you. And I just want you to know, Dominique, before we close, I want to take this moment just to express my deepest gratitude to you. Thank you for showing up today with your truth, your courage, your heart. You have survived incredible circumstances, and now you're a mental health therapist. Your story is not only powerful, but it's a living testament to the strength of the human spirit. And your willingness to share your journey is a gift to all of us. And you remind us that healing is possible and that the purpose can rise from your pain, and that even in your darkest moments, the light can still shine above. And I'm honored to have you on Speaking of Love podcast. And I know your words have touched someone today because they've touched me and maybe even saved a life. So thank you for the beautiful work and just for being exactly who you are. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you so much. And the one thing that I want to take from that presentation is think of yourself as a candle. Every time life gets in the way and you move a candle, it flickers a little bit. It flickers a little bit. But once you stand still and ground yourself, it can ignite itself. But you want to continue to make sure that it's ignited. And when life starts to get in the way, hold on to those tools that can help keep that light going. Otherwise, like I blew out the candle, that's the end. So just be the light in someone's life and be light for yourself. So, and I am so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominique. I just love your energy. We also have some people that are watching on YouTube and Facebook. So let's look at the comments, Dominique. I'm gonna see if I can show these here. We have someone from Love Drops Podcast watching. She says, "Hi, Dominique."
Hi, that's Diane.
I love the comment saying shine. And then we have someone else here tuning in, the name of GFG Shawnzy. It says, He says, "I'm proud of you, Dominique."
Thank you.
We have my Facebook friend here, Elena Harris. She says, "Good afternoon." We have Dante watching, Keith Carter Jr. He says, "Hello." We have another comment from Love Drops Podcast. He says, "Hey, baby girl from London, UK on train body service."
Oh, hey, y'all.
He also says that love never fails. Love never fails. That is so true. Then it looks like he has offered us another comment. It says, "Thank you, ladies, for bringing the uplifting and continuing to do the work to create the knowledge you."
Thank you so much.
And then also, Elena has offered a comment here. Toya, give them your ear and your time, call them for help, and get them safely with compassion, kindness, and gentleness. Yes, Elena, I agree with you. If someone is facing a crisis, don't judge with compassion.
Yes.
We have a couple of hearts here from Mo Zeptawi.
Hey, Mo. Oh, hey, Mo. Hey, Mo. Hey, Mo.
And then we have Love Drops Love podcast has another comment. "Yes, you have a purpose." Let's see what's this one. Oh, has another comment. It says, "We need more love in this world."
Yes.
Yes, we do, Mo.
Yes, we do.
Love Drops Love has warm hugs. Way to take to your dad, Toya. Thank you.
Yes.
Shine on, Tommy, shine.
Thank you.
And then we have one of my high school friends, Derek Davidson. So thank you all for being here. Are you going to go get the rest of the keys?
Oh, can you go get Giovanna and Gabby really quickly? Hold on 1 second.
Okay, while they're doing let me see if there's a video of something.
Giovanna!
Let's see.
Come here!
1 second. We're going to play a short video real
in this
quick.
market as well.
Yeah.
Herman, I love that you were all of those different things here at WGPR, and that's sort of indicative of the way the station operated. People did lots of different things, got lots of different opportunities to learn about all of them.
Yeah, I am extremely blessed to have been hired at the time that I was a 22-year-old kid out of college. And I worked at WDET, you know, as a college work-study student. I got a chance to meet Mr. George White. And he was being interviewed about the prospect of WGPR, nation's first owned and operated black TV station, opening. And I begged him, man, please hire me. Please hire me on the ground floor. I am very trainable. And, you know, I'm very, very grateful that the experience at WGPR helped me get a job at Channel 7, which I worked for 30 years after that, and the job as a news cameraman. You may not know who I am, a lot of people, but you have seen my work on the air. And there's nothing, there are no 2 days alike as a news cameraman. And I've been very blessed to work with a lot of, you know, people who I learned a great deal from, who I respect in the industry. And Karen Hudson and Doug Morrison, the two of them from GPI.
Doug Morrison, right? I remember him too. Ken.
Okay, so I wanted to play that real quick. That was my dad. That's the last interview that he had before his passing. But right now, we're going to focus on Domonique Anderson and her babies. Now, tell us who we have here, Domonique.
Y'all say your name.
Layla. Ben Chloe.
Hi.
Giovanna and Gabby.
Gabby, welcome to Speaking of Love. You guys are live on my podcast right now. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
A beautiful family, Domonique. I have really enjoyed this episode today. I tell you, this is so remarkably beautiful. Thank you. So Domonique, she is planning to come to I'm having a book signing next Sunday, and Domonique and her family are planning to come. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the book. Here's the cover of the book. The book is called Speaking of Love, and it is a children's book that I have written. It's a conversation starter for any parent for anyone who has to sit down and explain to a child that their parent has died by suicide. My father was he was a cameraman here in the city of Detroit. So as you can see, this book is all based in Detroit. He's standing there. We have the skyline here with the Renaissance building behind us. It's a beautiful book, and it takes you through grief, loss, love, and it takes you through rebuilding life after the loss. So I'm having a book signing next Sunday, and Domonique is going to be there. And I just thank you for supporting me through this journey as well, Domonique. So thank you to everyone for being here today. This was episode 146 of Speaking of Love, the podcast. If you have missed any portion of this podcast, it will live forever on YouTube. It's live on Facebook, and it's also available on all podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere. Speaking of Love is there. So thank you all for being here and supporting me. I will be back here next month with another episode of Speaking of Love. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful day.
Have a beautiful day, guys. Spread